Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. Since I redid the spindle and reinstalled it in the mower deck, I've had a lot of questions on how do you press your bearings in on your drill press. Well, there's a couple of different ways. One, you can use a socket if you have one, but it has to be a deep well socket. It has to be deep enough to not hit the spindle while you're pressing the bearings in. And this one will just do it. But I have a tool for that. That's why they call me the tool man at work. I made a tool to press the bearings in with. It's turned down on this end for a 1/2 inch, so it goes in my drill press. This end is machined to span the spindle. Now this side sticks out farther than the bottom does. This side, when you put the spindle in the housing, or the bearing in the housing, I should say, the spindle is not in your way, so you don't have any problems with pressing that one in. But once you get this one in with the snap rings, this positions everything in the housing, because this bearing is held in position with a snap ring on the top and one on the bottom. Then you insert the spindle in the housing. Then the bottom one has to go in. So this just has to be deep enough to clear what sticks out of the bottom. Now we're going to put this bearing back in because this is a good spindle and I just hang on to a spare. And I'll show you how this works. I don't need a socket, but let's go over to the drill press, and I have a wooden fixture that I have that holds this, because this cannot touch on the bottom. Otherwise, when you're trying to push this in, it shoves the spindle up out of the housing. So this has to be suspended so this is not touching anything. So let's go over there and I'll show you what I do. Okay, now we're over here. I just got a simple wooden frame made out of 2x6s that the spindle fits inside of, and it keeps the spindle from touching the bottom. I've got about a 1/2 inch clearance under there. That's all you need. Drop the bearing in place, and you just use this to press it in with. And that's it. It can't get any simpler than that. That's it. It can't get any easier to push them in than just using a drill press and the right tool. Now, there's a couple things I did when I made this. That's why a socket works pretty good too, if it's deep enough. You want to make sure when you're pressing this bearing in that whatever you're using only hits on the outer race. You can't use a smaller socket and have it push on the inner race, or one a little bigger that rides on the seal. You can see that's not touching the outer race. It's hitting on the shield. You don't want to damage the shield, because in turn that will damage the bearing. How this is made: it has a hole drilled in it for clearance for the shaft, but it's also undercut on the face, so all that's touching is the outer race of the bearing. It's about 0.010 of an inch smaller than the bearing is. So it just fits inside of the spindle housing. I had my father-in-law make me this, and I'd just been too busy at work to do anything. So he whipped this up for me on his lathe, and it's been very valuable to have. So that's it. I just had a lot of questions on that, and I thought I'd do a quick video and show you how this thing works and what it looks like. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and make yourself a tool. Talk to you soon.